Okay, welcome to Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. We've had some conditions anyway for you the first day on Sunday. Did you enjoy them?
Yeah, it's been fun. We've had some fun days. It's good to see some sun here. It's been warmer than I thought it was going to be, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, well, you've been very lucky, so you're more than welcome. So yeah, no, I just wanted you to talk us through one or two tricks, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody in Ireland really has mastered a forward 360, so we've seen you do them all over the place. So yeah, if you could talk us through one briefly, that'd be great.
Yeah, for me, one of the biggest things that helps a lot is like wind strength. The stronger the wind, probably the easier it is, because the more wind there is, the easier the board's going to stick to your feet.
Sure.
And also, like, what comes in is a lighter board. Like, the lighter your board, the easier it's going to stick to your feet as well.
Sure. Okay.
And that's one of the biggest things. Then it's working out how to like keep your feet positioned like into the wind the whole time. You got to make sure that there's always wind on the bottom of the board.
Sure. Okay.
If as soon as the wind goes over the rail, it's just going to fly away from your feet.
Away,
so you got to make sure the bottom of the board always stays into the wind.
Okay. Okay.
And that's one of the biggest things. It's hard to get your head around, but once you work that out, that's going to help a lot. And
about kite control then as well, when you're coming into the I suppose when you're coming down seems to be the most difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, it also depends on like if you do it off a wave or off flat water. Off a wave is going to be a little easier, because when you do this trick, you don't really want to send your kite past 12. You want to have it maybe around 10, 11 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
And if you send it past 12, it's just going to fly away from your board.
All right, okay.
So for starting, the easiest is going to be to try and find a little wave, maybe like a wave, I don't know.
Chop hop.
Yeah, just a little bit of a chop that can help you get into the air first, and it's going to make it a lot easier.
Okay.
Just it'll start that rotation off the ground. You don't have to pop as much, and that makes a huge difference. And
again, like we were saying earlier, is it better to rotate once you're dedicated and in the air and know you have the board under your feet, or go straight into it?
I think it kind of comes down to whether you come off a wave. If you're coming off a smaller chop, or you're coming off flat water, you need to actually get into the air first and get that height first.
Okay.
But if you look at it, everyone seems to do it differently, and everyone has a different way of doing it. Some people can hit a wave and just go straight into it, like super laid out. For me, I find it easier to like kind of go into the air first and get that height, and then rotate.
Okay.
And then almost stop myself just before the landing and come down.
And see your landing and dedicate yourself to it, yeah. Well, that's great. I've seen you guys as well in Mauritius. You did a freestyle session, and you were doing amazing shove-its on the end of it, and that's just another world for us. But again, what I can't get my head around at least is how you manage to grip the board enough to shove it. Like on a skateboard, I got it, but on one of these now. Any tricks there, or?
It's funny for me, like I can't skate, but for some reason I just tried it enough. I could never do it, and then all of a sudden I learned how to get one shove it. I started with a 180 shove it, and all of a sudden it worked. I could do it all the time, and then I think by accident once I did a 360 shove it.
Great.
And it was like, oh, okay, that works. And from then on I could get those pretty consistently. And
great.
When I learnt the front roll, I was like, why not? Just try and throw it and shove it. And there was a lot of tries. There's probably about 50 to 1, but I got one pretty clean one, or a couple pretty good ones, so I'm pretty stoked.
And again, when you're doing a shove it, do you manage to hook your foot in somehow on the grip, or?
Yeah, what you kind of want to do is just like have your front foot on the board just lightly to kind of help steer the board, and then you're really just kicking the board off that little kick on the bottom of the board.
Okay.
And just kicking it sideways. And you want to try and spin the board as flat as possible.
Exactly.
If it's got too much of an angle, it's just going to rotate. You just want to keep the board like horizontal and spinning flat. That's the biggest thing.
And again, you're not traveling at much speed then, you're kind of going a bit downwind.
Yeah.
So it tends to go with the wind rather than, fly off with the wind.
Yeah. The flat of the board too for the shove-its seems to help a lot. If it's got a lot of rocker, it wants to catch in the wind a little bit easier.
Yeah.
For me, this board works perfect. It's pretty flat, and the shapes, it's good for freestyle stuff.
Yeah, I ride a skillet myself. They're really good fun.
Yeah.
Well, Keahi, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us. So best of luck with the gig. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks very much.
Cool.